The last 3 attempts. And when you come back, Muster will be serving to stay in the first set at 4-5. Thomas Muster 4-5 against Michael Tillstrom of Sweden. Still too many unforced errors from both men.
Yes, they just haven't settled down. I think Tillstrom is a little bit nervous with the occasion and the opportunity that he has.
And Muster?
I've got a feeling that he's got to be thinking about number one. One can't blame Muster. I mean, it's what a marvelous opportunity that he has to be number one. He would be inhuman if he's not thinking about it.
41. It's tantalizingly close. It's only Agassi now to contend with. Sampras out of the equation. The situation is they both have to keep on winning. Agassi, of course, is the winner, has more points to come off. But if Muster should fall here, for example, Agassi would have to reach the semi-final, at least, to become number one. But the equation changes round by round. All he knows is he's just got to keep on winning and staying in the tournament. 5-all. Incidentally, Agassi's opponent today in the 4th round, Jonas Bjorkman of Sweden, and we'll be showing you that match towards the end of our transmission. Around 5:30, 4:30 if you're watching in the UK.
So many Swedes still around playing tennis in the latter stages of any tournament nowadays. It's just frightening.
They stirred up Boris Becker, do you remember, against Thomas Johansson? They want to stir up Muster. The crowd, that is. There's more authority about Tillstrom now. And sure enough, the sleeping Swedes are now coming to life.
Well, if you possibly can, you have to block out any of this support that the Swedes get from the Swedish fans. Very, very difficult to do, but you're supposed to be professional enough to do it. But if you're fully concentrating, then you hear the noise and not necessarily the words and all that stuff, and then you can perhaps block it out. But to do it for 5 sets is so jolly difficult, and the moment you let them into your brain, they really stay there. So the best way, if you can't block them out, the best way to keep them out is to keep the Swede down, because when the Swede's losing, they're not nearly as loud and supportive as if the Swede is level or ahead.
Muster then serving to stay in the set to take us, if he wins it, into a tiebreak. Now that's just unpardonable for Muster. Too much of that we've seen.
Into the net. Oh, it's a bit lucky.
And sporting as ever, Tillstrom acknowledges that, but what an important point.
Well, Tillstrom read where the forehand was going to go to, and then perhaps a real reflex volleyer at the net might have tried to still volley the ball.
Well, that showed a real lack of concentration.
Well, I must have thought that ball was into the net, but at 5-6 and love 30, you don't think. You have to make sure that a ball is into the net. Until it goes into the net, you have to go and chase it.
3 set points. No. Dismal end to the set for Thomas Muster. Well played, Michael Tillstrom, but in all honesty, he didn't have to play much better than a guy ranked 105 in the world to win that set. This was not the Muster that won 12 titles last year. He's got to get his act together quick. So uncharacteristic. And you were saying the danger of getting the Swedes alive. Well, it's going to take something to quieten them down now.
Not a nice looking serve for Tillstrom, the action, the motion. But when it goes in, it's very, very powerful.
Yes, good shooting.
You'll see it here, the tremendous backhand. You see how well he gets down to the ball with his body, the bending of the knee. Hits right through the ball. Match yet to really come to life. Some great shots in it, but not enough of them. Way too many mistakes.
Yeah, well played, Muster. Well, he's reacted like a scalded cat. Moving better. But it's intermittent, this flurry of commitment from Muster. It's drifting in and out. Here's break point. Well, the second smash a lot better than the first.
I really find it very difficult to believe that Tillstrom hit the first one without letting it bounce. And then I don't believe that Muster didn't try to whack a forehand down the line instead of just putting another ball back up in the air. It's very strange tactics and play from Muster at the moment.
But he's got another chance. Second break point now. Well, that's what he needs, Muster. So Tillstrom, after taking the first set, 7-5, drops his serve at the beginning of the second set. You'll be back with us in just a moment.
Otto Rehagel is the coach of a very famous European team. Which one? If you have the answer, you may be the lucky winner of a superb colour screen camcorder. You can also win Eurosport caps. To play and win, call the Eurosport hotline now. Good luck.
Gorgeous day in Melbourne. The tennis has yet to match the weather here on centre court, where Thomas Muster, a shadow of himself, one love up though in the second set against Michael Tillstrom. Took that set 7-5.
That's not even a shadow of his normal self. He very seldom mishits a ball. If he does, it's just a minor mishit, but that was a major mishit. This is beginning to look a little bit better for Muster.
Yes, a two-game cushion. But so often Muster comes out showing that character, that indomitable spirit, that aggressive, almost like, I don't know what you're doing on the same court as me kind of feeling. And there's none of that today. It's almost like he's giving Tillstrom too much respect. don't think he's ever been guilty of that before, Muster.
This is a very smart play, though, from Tillstrom. He knows that Muster, as we all know, Muster loves to stand 1.5 meters, 2 meters behind the baseline. And he's very vulnerable to the drop shot, and so few players do play a drop shot. And not only is he playing the drop shot, but normally he does it rather well.
Wants another one just to get some kind of timing. Get rid of some of the frustration that must be building.
Oh, bad luck. Goodness gracious, that was nearly the shot of the tournament.
It's because Tillstrom's was very nearly the shot of the tournament.
Yeah, unreal. It's actually a good point. That wasn't the shot of the tournament, though.
No, and that's the problem, Bob, isn't it? There have been too many shots like that.
Oh, no foot movement, nothing. He's really not, doesn't seem to be watching the ball, doesn't appear to be hitting through the ball. I'm convinced that he's thinking about the number one. There's really no reason why he should be like this, because he's not normally like this. He's gone through the whole of 1995 on a very consistent level. We talk about all the clay court success he had, but outside of the clay courts, he didn't do all that badly. So his play the whole year was pretty good, and he's not the type of player that mishits many shots.
Throughout that run, though, there were 40 consecutive wins on the clay last year. Despite that, there were many times in that run where he had to come back from match point down, 3 match points, and some of the matches 4 match points. I think it was against Carlos Costa in Stuttgart. He does sometimes drift and then overtake, but he can do that on clay. He might not be able to do that on this stuff.
Oh yes, he has to, because it's not a natural surface for him. I think he can play pretty well because the court isn't that quick. He's going to have to keep on top of his opponent. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Just went straight
back. Sorry to say that, but that's really ridiculous.
15.
Look at this. Straight back to him. And then wide, trying to go back behind his opponent. Very disappointing thus far, the play of Thomas Muster. He's disappointing as Muster has been up to this stage. It's very heartening to see how Tillstrom is playing. I wondered at the start what tactics he would use,
15,
bearing in mind that both are very, very comfortable from the baseline. But Tillstrom has mixed it up a little bit, gone to the net a few times, played a few drop shots. Oh, that's well played.
31.
Yes. One of the few times he's dominated through the rally and been able to finish it off.
This is a great backhand there, and you can see Tillstrom guilty there not running all the way to the ball and then playing a weak forehand. Easily put away on the forehand by Muster. 40-30.
Now that was better. Still some strange decisions being made, but a sign that Muster was beginning to dominate in the rallies.
Listen, ordinarily one would say, well, what Muster needs at this stage is to win a set, and we would then therefore expect him to go from strength to strength. But the perception that I have is that he's in such a funny frame of mind that even if he wins a set, I don't think he would be all that secure mentally.
I get the feeling he needs to get angry, either with himself or somebody else. He's in the doldrums. Well done. And of course, the longer this goes on, this kind of attitude from Muster, Tillstrom will really think he's got a positive chance.
In many ways, that rally summed up a lot about Muster. The last two shots, he tried to go a little bit wider. The last one, he made the major error. But the rest of the shots, he's almost hitting the ball up the center of the court.
Well, Muster gave him everything there, and it wasn't nearly enough. When he has time, he can play some devastating forehands as well as double-handers. It's looking back on the records of last year, Bob. Just go back to my point about him coming back from the dead, so to speak. He saved match points in Barcelona, 2 match points in the final in Monte Carlo against Becker. Remember, he was 2 sets down against Becker. 3 in St. Pölten, and later in the year, say 4 and 3 match points in Stuttgart and Umag. But those were clay, and he kind of probably believed he could do it all the time. Does he really believe he can come back from that kind of a lead here?
Not the way we're seeing this particular picture right now. Trying to psych himself up, no doubt. And this is one of the reasons why it'd be good for the game and good for tennis and good for Austrian tennis in particular if Muster does become #1, even if it's for a short period of time. And I say a short period of time because he has so few points to defend between now and April, but he has so many points after that. And talking about all the match points that he saved, if he gets into that situation or anywhere near those situations in '96, one can't expect him to be winning from match points down all the time again. So he may not, in the summer, the European summer, be able to repeat.
On a positive note with that, though, if you do come back all the time and show time after time you're capable of it, it gives you confidence that whatever the situation, there could be a solution.
Oh yes, absolutely. It not only gives you confidence, but it scares the pants off your opponents when he gets to match point. They say, well, will he come back again? Right in, almost in the corner, right on the center line. Gee whiz, that was almost on the baseline.
So he's still the break up. The break he gained in the opening game of the second set.
Love 15.
Yep. Second ace.
Did he say that too long?
Yep.
15.
Perhaps the beginning of a little chat with Mr. Diaz.
Yeah, but I mean, it was nowhere near too long. So he's not watching the ball at all if he thought that serve was too long. The players do know as the ball is in the air whether the ball is going to go in or out. Sometimes they don't know it, but that's too good. But when they're timing the ball well, seeing the ball well, they know. They don't even have to watch the ball bounce. But it's when you're out of sorts that you really have to watch the ball bounce, because you miss hitting the ball. So therefore you misjudging the ball. So you know, and that's a perfect example there. Not watching the ball closely enough and not judging it properly, and ball is well inside the service line, and he's saying, wasn't it long?
Juice.
His first double. Yes, he's trying to get Jorge Diaz involved now.
He may